Hey, I'm Patricia Villone with CTV News, and joining me now is Senator Jim Rosapep. He's going to talk a little bit about yesterday's election, which was notable, very unique, the first time we'd ever had just about everybody sending in mail-in ballots. Tell us a little bit about your take on that and those fewer polling places that were out there.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have all the numbers in yet because they counted the mail-in ballots that came in by a week ago, and then they were going to count the in-person votes yesterday, and then they're going to count all the rest of them that have been coming in over the last week. So we don't really know the numbers yet. But the big picture is that lots of people voted. Lots of people voted different ways. One of the things that was really interesting to me yesterday at the polling place in College Park was so many people came to drop off their ballot in addition to the people who were coming to vote in person. Clearly, a lot of people felt more comfortable dropping off their ballot than mailing it in. So I think the fact that we offered the three options, mail it in, drop it by, or come and vote in person, I think was a good decision. Also, there were an extraordinary number of people who were voting in person. By, I would say, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, there were lines of people lined up around the voting center. There also were lines of cars coming into the neighborhood to come to the voting center, which there weren't earlier in the day. So clearly different people wanted to vote different ways. I frankly also think, I don't know this for a fact, but I had the feeling that there were quite a few people who may not have intended to vote in this primary because frankly, they didn't see it as very contested at the presidential level or really most of the levels. But I think all the tragedy that's happened over the last week in our country, starting in Minneapolis and with the demonstrations across the country, I think a lot of people were motivated to vote yesterday because they wanted to peacefully protest.
In terms of some of the races, there was one notable one, a challenger, progressive challenger to Congressman Steny Hoyer, who's been in for many years. He pretty much won with a landslide, but there were many who were on the progressive side hoping it could be an upset similar to Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's victory in New York. What is your take on how that ended up?
Well, I mean, the results are the results. I mean, I think Congressman Hoyer campaigned very hard, as he always does. I think his opponent campaigned hard. I think the experience across the country is that some of the progressive Democrats who are incumbents, like a Congressman Hoyer, like a Congressman Brown, have done well because the Democratic Party, I think, is more united than sometimes it appears to be on cable television. I mean, that also plays out in the presidential race, is we had a wide diversity of great candidates in the presidential race nationally. And at the end of the day, people came together behind Vice President Biden because I think most people understand and agree that the Democratic Party is the progressive party, that people may have differences on individual details of issues. Obviously, some people are for Medicare for all. I'm for Medicare for all. But I also was for Obamacare. And I think all of us are for health insurance covering everybody. So I think there's less division in the Democratic Party than sometimes it looks like on TV.
And last question before we close, do you think during this pandemic for the November elections, it is something that we're going to need to do as well in terms of the mail-in ballots?
That's my guess. But frankly, I'm for mail-in ballots when we don't have a pandemic. We need to make it easy for people to vote. There are states in this country, there are countries in this world that have had mail-in ballots for years, and it works. I'm not saying you should only have mail-in ballots. I think what we did in Maryland yesterday is a good model, is a choice. Mail in if you want to, drop off if you want to, come in person if you want to. The critical thing is to make it as convenient as possible for everyone to participate. Voting is an essential role in a democratic society.
All right, Senator Jim Rosapep, thank you for joining us again, as always. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.